notice of the annual general meeting is hereby given to all Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute professionals in good standing pursuant to Cap 253B, Section 30, subsection 4, read together with the first schedule 1, subsection 2, with the following details: date of and venue. The date of annual general meeting is supposed to be 17th December 2024. Venue is at the Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute headquarters. The meeting shall be held virtually through Zoom, and the login key shall be sent to all professionals in good standing with valid license. Time to start is supposed to be 11 a.m., so we are slightly an hour late. The business is as follows for today. We had already done the prayers, which combined everything, and then now doing the reading of the notice on behalf of the CEO. Then there will be adoption of the business, then reading and confirmation of resolutions of the previous AGM. Then we'll have matters arising from the resolution of the previous AGM. Then immediately after that, it will be followed by the chairperson's report. Then we'll have presentation of audited accounts, statement of income and expenditure, and statement of assets and liabilities from 1st July 2023 to 30th June 2024 by external auditor Muiru Karanja and associate. Then 8, we're going to have questions and answer session. And then 9, there will be adjournment. This has been authorized participant in attendance, all professionals in good standing, council members, then co-opted committee members. So that is the notice. And with that, now, as we wait for the CEO, we'll go for adoption of the business. Chair, we can ask the members to adopt, both online or here. Any member to support adoption? Okay. Okay, Momina. So it can be noted down. And Beatrice. So the agenda stands adopted. Then reading and confirmation of the resolutions of the previous AGM. Again, I will pick that on the reading and confirmation of the previous AGM. If you don't mind, we'll move to that section so that we can have, so the resolution of Kndi as chairperson's report and financial audited accounts during the annual general meeting held on 18th December 2023 at Kndi headquarters. Reference, Kndi minute AGM 18 December 2023 007. The members of Kenya Nutrition and Dietitians Institute, upon hearing the chair's report and presentation of the financial audited accounts report from Muiru Karanja Associates, certified public accountants who are external auditors, resolve as follows. Reports should be adopted with their content as proposed, and the Institute should be given the authority to spend money on professionals and other professional-related sources. And this was proposed by Dr. Agatha Christine, G044/09, and the seconded by Emmanuel Odhiambo, which was D0398/11, approved by the CEO at that time, Dr. David Okeo, Chief Executive Officer of the Council, and Then we had Dr. Evelyn Agriculture, and that is the resolution of the last minutes. So with that, we have moved to the fifth. First and foremost, maybe before we move to the fifth, the fourth, regarding confirmation of resolution of the previous minute, do we, again back to the members, we have to approve that as the true record of the last AGM. The true record of last AGM. Anybody online or even here? True record. Those who are there, the nutritionist, those who are there. Okay. Again, Beatrice, that is the true record, seconded by? Seconder? A nutritionist who was there by then. Of course, this one, the fresh nutritionists were not there, so it must be somebody, the seniors. Thank you very much, Momina. So again, that has been approved as the true record. So from there, then it opens us for the matters arising. Matters arising. Matters arising. Is there any matter arising out of that? From both the sitting here and those online? Any matter arising? Okay. So we will presume that there being no matter arising, we'll proceed to the chairperson's annual report. And therefore, I now invite the chair, Dr. Evelyn Agriculture, you are online?
Yes, I am. Prof, I am in.
Now I
hope you can hear me.
So you go, we now give the space for you now to do the presentation of the chairperson's report. Thank you very much. Doc, you have mute. You are mute. Please unmute. Chair, you can unmute. Yeah?
Chagua, chagua, chagua leo. Mimi nachagua Masia. Wewe mama, wewe mama. Leo leo. Mimi nachagua Masia. Wewe ndugu, wewe baba. Leo leo. Mimi nachagua Masia. I'm chosen, I'm chosen, I'm chosen Jesus. Oh yes, I am chosen Jesus. I'm chosen, I'm chosen, I'm chosen, my Jesus. Oh yes, I am chosen Jesus. And you're my brother, Jesus. My sister, Jesus. Choose today. Oh yes, I am chosen Jesus. And you're my brother, Jesus. My sister, Jesus. Choose today. Oh yes, I am chosen Jesus. Chagua, chagua, chagua leo. Mimi nachagua Masia. Chagua, chagua, chagua leo. Mimi nachagua Masia. Wewe baba, wewe mama. Ukihesabu utachoka, kuna ya juzi, jana na leo, pia kesho Mungu kafanya. Huku
Thank you.
kwetu
Thank you, Professor. I had some
mashaka.
issues with the whatever, but now I'm okay. Good morning, good afternoon, professionals. Once again, we are converging here at Mavoko Sub-County, Sabaki area, Mlolongo, Machakos County. And I'm going to read the chairperson's report. That is the council performance report for the period between 1st July 2023 to 30th June 2024. So it has various sections, and we are going to share the sections. I want to start with the nutrition landscape in Kenya. Then after that, I'll hand it in to Professor Nguka to continue from there. So the nutrition landscape in Kenya, legal and policy landscape. Kenya is undergoing an epidemiological transition marked by a decline in morbidity and mortality caused by communicable diseases and an increase in the burden of non-communicable diseases, conditions which are estimated to account for 27% of all deaths. Nutrition has the capacity to halt and reverse the rising burden of non-communicable diseases through minimizing the exposure to health risk factors across the life cycle, which is very true. The 2010 Constitution of Kenya recognizes adequate food and nutrition as a human right. It states that every person has the right to be free from hunger and right to adequate food of acceptable quality, and that every child has the right to basic nutrition. And that is why as Kenyans, we have to work hard despite the hardships which are there. Since 2007, historical policies indicate that some intensified energies have emerged, resulting in several policy and pragmatic initiatives. This includes Sustainable Development Goals, Kenya Vision 2030, Kenya National Strategy for Control of Non-Communicable Diseases 2015 to 2020, National Nutrition Action Plan 2012 to 2017, Kenya National Health Strategy 2011 to 2017, National Food and Nutrition Security Policy of 2011, Kenya Nutrition and HIV/AIDS Strategy of 2007 to 2010, then Scaling Up Nutrition Movement, Nutrition Situation Analysis, Kenya, among others. Furthermore, the government of Kenya in 2020 Food and Nutrition Security Policy states that nutrition is central to human development in the country, a fact that has been embodied in Kenya's Vision 2030 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals that specifically addresses SDG 2. Kndi therefore dutifully and with great hope looks forward to continuing collaboration with all those who practically promote the nutrition status and well-being of the Kenyan people. Kndi provides an environment that enables sustainable improvement of nutrition and dietary status for all of Kenya's population groups. The legal and research policy frameworks allow the Institute to deepen its work around understanding nutrition research and provide ethical approval for all research with nutrition-specific and sensitive components. The Institute advises the government on matters related to nutrition and dietetics and enhances nutrition research, evidence for policy making, and matters of quality assurance. To achieve these functions, Kndi, through its existing research policy, enables its members to fully use its vast resources to create a research culture consistent with national development goals. The Institute is aware of previous strategies utilized to deliberate attention on identifying priority research areas and conducting need-based research to inform policy, program design, and implementation. I'm going to request Professor to continue from there, or get somebody to continue from there. Prof.
Thank you very much, Chair. You're supposed to go to this one. Thank you. I think the next should be the legal policy, legal policy landscape. Is that okay, Chair?
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I will go through the legal and policy landscape for nutrition. The nutrition landscape in Kenya, the legal and policy landscape. Kenya is undergoing an epidemiological transition marked by a decline in morbidity and mortality caused by communicable diseases, and an increase in the burden of non-communicable conditions. These are estimated to account for 27% of all deaths. Nutrition has the capacity to halt and reverse the rising burden of non-communicable diseases through minimizing the exposure to health risk factors across the life cycle. The 2010 Constitution of Kenya recognizes adequate food and nutrition as human right. It states that every person has the right to be free from hunger and the right to adequate food of acceptable quality, that is in Article 43, and that every child has the right to basic nutrition in Article 53. Since the year 2007, historical policies indicate that some intensified energies have emerged, resulting into several policy and programmatic initiatives. These include Sustainable Development Goals, Kenya Vision 2030, the Kenya National Strategy for Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, 2015-2020, National Nutrition Action Plan, 2012-2017, the Kenya National Health Strategy, 2011-2017, National Food and Nutrition Security Policy, 2011, Kenya Nutrition and HIV/AIDS Strategy, 2007-2010, Scaling Up Nutrition Movement, Nutrition Situation Analysis, Kenya, amongst others. Nations. Furthermore, the government of Kenya 2011 Food and Nutrition Security Policy states that nutrition is central to human development in the country. Government of Kenya 2011 appreciates that. A fact that has been embodied in Kenya Vision 2030 and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal that specify and addresses SDG number 2. Kndi therefore dutifully and with great hope looks forward to continuing collaboration with all those who practically promote the nutrition status and well-being in the Kenyan people. Kndi provides an environment that enables sustainable development, sustainable improvement of nutrition and dietary status for all Kenya's population groups. The legal and research policy framework allow the Institute to deepen its work around understanding nutrition research and provide ethical approval for all research with nutrition-specific and sensitive components. The Institute advises the government on matters related to nutrition and dietetics and enhances nutrition research, evidence for policy making, and matters of quality assurance. To achieve these functions, Kndi, through its existing research policy, enables its members to fully use the vast resources to create a research culture consistent with the national development goals. The Institute is aware of previous strategies utilized to deliberate attention on identifying priority research areas and conducting need-based research to inform policy, program design and implementation. So that is the legal framework. The component is supposed to be, okay. Okay. So thank you very much. So immediately after that, we are going to go for the financial statement. Oh, okay. Let me invite Dr. Okay. Okay, so thank you. Once we are through with that component, I will take you through the nutrition. That is the policy landscape. So I'll take you through the nutrition situation. The Kenya Health Sector Strategic Investment Plan of 2018-2023 and Midterm Review Report identifies key indicators of nutrition as part of the strategic objective, strengthening collaborative with health-related sector. These include stunting and wasting. The key achievements is that the prevalence of stunting, height for age, which is a measure of the chronic malnutrition, has decreased markedly since 2014 from 26% to 17.6% in the year 2022, and this is according to the KDHS 2022 output, the percentage stunting has gone down. Obesity among children under 5 years decreased from 4% in 2014 to 3% in 2022. Again, it was from the KDHS 2022 report. The challenges: nutrition intervention depend purely on partner funding, and the National Treasury seems to allocate limited budgetary resources to this component. So some of the emerging issues include wasting increases from 4% to 5% from that KDHS. Wasting has increased from 4% to 5%. Exclusive breastfeeding decreased from 61% to 60%. And the other emerging issue is that 60.1% children born in the last 2 years who were put to breast within 1 hour of birth increased in children put on the breast within 1 hour. The other component that has come out as an emerging issue is that 34% of children below the age of 24 months were fed from bottle with a nipple. That is as the percentage decrease in children below 24 months who were bottle fed with a nipple. The fifth emerging issue is that 37% of children aged 6 to 23 months had adequately diverse diet and have been given food from the appropriate number of food groups. Again, that is coming out. There is increase of children 6 to 23 months who receive adequate diverse diet. We also need to know that at the sixth issue that 71% had been fed the minimum number of times appropriate for age, which means 6 to 23 months who were fed the minimum number of times. We also need to know that 52% of non-breastfed children aged 6 to 23 months were given at least 2 milk feeds. That is the percentage increase of fed the minimum number of times appropriate for their age. Second last is that 49% of children aged 6 to 23 months were fed a sweet beverage the day preceding the survey, and 26% of children were given unhealthy foods during the previous day. So the percentage output of children aged 6 to 23 months who were fed on sweet beverages. Low birth weight increased from 4.7% in 2024, from 4% in 2025 to 5.5% in 2020. I don't know how that is reading. Low birth weight increased from 4.7% in 2025. I'm not very sure. Dr. Keo, this to 5.5% in 2020, according to the survey in 2018-2023 midterm review. So, which lessons have been learned? The lessons are as follows: that most of the nutrition indicators only focus on mothers and children, and this leaves out a bigger component of nutrition and dietetics that matter in the life cycle, and the following key areas are left out and should be given focus. 1, geriatric nutrition. The number of adults reached with the nutrition information indicate that geriatric nutrition was not taken care of. We also have seen that adolescent nutrition services, the number of adolescents who are mothers accessing nutrition services, the nutrition and athletics education for school-going children, which can be provided as the number of, or the indicators of concern can be the number of children reached with healthy nutrition education in schools. We also have the mental health nutrition. The indicator can be the number of centers created to deal with diet-related mental health issues. And lastly, the nutrition-sensitive agriculture, which should be the number of healthcare workers and nutrition key players empowered with knowledge on nutrition-sensitive agriculture. So with that, allow me to invite Dr. Okeyo to go through the Council and Management Joint Statement. Dr. Okeyo? Yeah, this percentage, I was wondering.
Let me see. Okay. Thank you very much. I know Prof is fumbling with the low birth weight, which increased from 4.7 2015 to 5.5 in 2020. This is a Ministry of Health record. Okay. So we continue. The report is big. So I'll move to Council and Management Joint Statement. I want us to be very keen on this because it has some of the policy issues in it. The Kenya Nutritionist and Dietitians Institute is a semi-autonomous legal entity. We have said this in the licensing award. We are repeating it again for the AGM because we believe that the professionals, seniors are here. It is created by an act of parliament, that is a statute. The act is, what did we say it is? What did we say it is? It is Nutritionists and Dietitians Act number 18 of 2007. Please, can you repeat that? And it is found under Cap 253B. Professionals, please get this act and read the citation and also read the content. It is very important. Currently, we are placed under the health sector, that is Executive Order number 1 of 12th October 2022, that is under State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards. I want us to be very clear. When we are placed there, we are on business in the health sector, not on reporting. Because the executive order informs us to do business for government and focus on government agenda through that state department. So I read, it is important to inform Parliament, professionals, and the Republic of Kenya at large that since the creation of Kndi as non-exchequer, and Kndi being a non-exchequer institution, which means does not receive funds from government or does not receive funds from consolidated funds appropriated by Parliament through National Treasury, the professionals have made it possible through subscriptions. Can you say subscriptions? And also through professional expertise support to various institutions to ensure that the institution is running. And with this, in the report, as you will read it, we get money from professionals through licenses, registration, indexing, and also we get money by offering professional expertise to food industry, training institutions, and also through webinars, research grants, donations to support government functions. So it would be interesting for you as professionals that your input is needed in that context, in addition to the subscriptions. We have also informed during the licensing award, I'm just summarizing this now, that 40% cost cut down is now being implemented for training institutions to acquire skills laboratory equipments for preclinical skills training. And that is helping us to build competencies of nutritionists together with other cadres through integrated clinical skills support. So that is what the Institute is doing to empower training institutions. We have also indicated in the morning that we are proud to identify with the Ministry of Health through the Office of the Cabinet Secretary, and we acknowledge that, and also through the Office of the Principal Secretary, Public Health and Professional Standards. Again, we acknowledge that. And we ended by saying that we appreciate stakeholders in nutrition, such as Kndi. What they're doing is to help our professionals get the best of welfare that is needed when it comes to employment and also when it comes to career progression. We also have the association working in this area of nutrition, helping us to build professionalism through trainings, conferences, symposiums, and webinars. And particularly, we have Nutrition Academy that is helping us to build specialty competencies in collaboration with the Institute. We acknowledge them for that. So this statement is just informing you on what the Institute has been doing in the realm of professionalism. And so when you receive this report, please go through it in details. I would want to invite the next presenter on governance, and this is purely the chair. I hope the chair, you have the governance statement with you. You can continue from there. We can also display it from the Zoom this side so that you can read it from the Zoom. Chair, are you able to read it? In your report, page 8, we have governance matters there.
Okay, thank you, CEO. I'm able to read it. Governance matters. The council, whose members are in Gazette Notice number 8265, 14th July 2022, and number 8817, 28th July 2022, have in the past year of operations embraced principles of good governance for the Institute by empowering committees and the CEO's office to execute the Institute's mandate. Council meetings are often chaired substantially by the chairperson of the council, and in the case of a committee meeting, the chairperson of the committee is the one who chairs that meeting. In the absence of the chairperson, one of the council members designed by the council members is present to preside at the meeting as chair. The council meetings are constituted in accordance with the Institute's constitutive documents and include confirming that there is a quorum for the meeting to proceed and recording attendance. the chairperson having ensured that the meeting was properly constituted always ensures that at an appropriate time during the meeting, the minutes of the previous meeting were confirmed and matters arising therein handled. All committee reports were tabled in full council meetings for adoption. The following committee operated actively and participated in various meetings as mandated by the council. We have Finance, Administration, and Human Resource Committee. We have Audit and Risk Committee. We have Accreditation Committee.
Chair, we lost you.
Okay, are you able to, I've read the committees, were you able to get me from that point?
Lost you at the committees, starting with accreditation.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Accreditation Committee, then we have Disciplinary Committee, we have Resource Mobilization Committee. During the past year, both the council and the committees held regular meetings to pass resolutions for adoption. The office of the CEO and the Secretariat remained in full operation. The following council and committee members actively participated in the Institute's governance. Council members, that is, who are elected under Cap 253B, Section 5(2). We have the Dr. Evelyn Krigacha, who is myself, under paragraph A, Ms. Bernice Kndi Mugo, paragraph B, Ms. Veronica Kirogo, paragraph C, Ms. Judy Athiambo Kobe, paragraph D, Professor Gordon Guka, paragraph E, Ms. Purity Njoki Chege, paragraph F, Dr. David Soti, paragraph D, CPA Peter Da, paragraph H, and we have Dr. David Omondo Keo, section 9. Then we have council committee members. We start with the accreditation committee, which is chaired by Professor Gordon Guka. And then we have the subcommittee accreditation, whose members are Ms. Emily Wahome, Dr. Regina Kamuhu, KICD representative Ms. Judy Muriuki, KNEC representative Ms. Ngatia, and we have Dr. David Soti from the Ministry of Health. Then we have subcommittee registration, which is under Ms. Purity Chege Njoki as the vice chairperson, Mr. Mohammed Noor, KNEC representative Ms. Gatia, and Ms. Veronica Kirogo from the Ministry of Health. Then we have subcommittee examinations board, NEC representative Ann Gatia, who is the chairperson, Ms. Emily Wahome, Dr. Regina Kamuhu, and Dr. David Okeo. Then we have Resource Mobilization Committee, which is chaired by CPA Dr. Peter Da. Then the members are Ms. Judith Kobe, Ms. Margaret Oyugi, Professor Gordon Guka, Ms. Veronica Kirogo, Ms. Bernice Kndi, and Dr. Okeo. Then we have Finance, Administration, and Human Resource Committee, which is chaired by Professor Gordon Guka, and the members are Ms. Purity Chege, Ms. Bernice Kndi, and Dr. David Okeo. Then we have Audit and Risk Committee, chaired by Dr. David Soti, and members are Ms. Veronica Kirogo, CPA Peter Da, and Dr. David Okeo. We have Disciplinary Committee, which is chaired by Professor Jackie Nanwa, and members are Professor Gordon Guka, Council Esther Aduma, Ms. Edna Warentho, and Beatrice Kiage. Then we have council approved policies and standard operating procedures. In order to support the operations of the Office of the Chief Executive Officer, the council continuously reviewed previous policies. It developed new ones to guide operations, making a total of 24 policies, which are used by the Institute. Any professional can enter in the Institute and access relevant policies and procedures of interest for knowledge. Some of the statutory documents, policy documents, and standard operating procedures that are in operation are highlighted below. We have the statutory instruments. We have the policy and the guidelines, which are listed as we can all be able to see. We have the standard operating procedures, which we have 20 of them. I will request Professor Nguka to do major achievements specific for the current council. Professor Nguka, welcome to the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Okay.
Madam Chair, would you mind just reading through the policies and statutory documents, because those are your documents, and also the standard operating procedure? I know you're tired, but you can still read them. From this is from 2.2. We have starting with the Nutritionist and Dietitians Act.
Okay, thank you. Statutory instruments. We have one in Nutritionist and Dietitian Act 18 of 2007. Number 2, Nutritionist and Dietitian Act number 18 of 2007, amendment in health laws. That is amendment 2019. We have legal notices number 215 of 2019, 160 of 2019, and number 260 of 2020. That is amendment of notice 215. Then number 4, we have legal notice number 267 of 2021. Then we go to the policies and guidelines. We have council charter, training standards. Then number 3, we have inspection checklist, degree, diploma, and certificate. Those are the ones which are used when inspection is being done. Then number 4, we have core curriculum guidelines. That is for degree, nutrition, and dietetics. Number 5, we have core curriculum guidelines, diploma, nutrition, and dietetics. Then number 6, we have core curriculum guidelines, certificate in nutrition and dietetics. Then number 7, we have training institutions, site inspection tool, which is used for degree, diploma, and certificate. Number 8, we have food company value chain inspection tool, which is used when companies that deal with food and nutrition are being inspected. Then number 9, we have internship guidelines. Number 10, we have internship logbook. Number 11, we have examination policy. Number 12, we have CPD guidelines. Number 13, we have ethical clearance guidelines. Number 14, we have scope of practice. Number 15, we have code of ethics and oath of practice. Number 16, we have Kndi research policy. Number 17, we have Kndi business process analysis. Number 18, we have IT policy. Number 19, we have communication policy. Number 20, we have human resource policy. Number 21, we have remuneration policy. Number 22, we have Atri PLC Business Process Plan. Number 23, we have core curriculum, BSc Food and Nutrition Security. Number 24, we have resource mobilization policy. Then we go to standard operating procedures. There are 20 approved procedures for operations, which are implemented by the Chief Executive Officer. Procedure number 1, procedures for council's operations, and that is reference number Kndi SOP 2016 C of 01. Then number 2, we have procedure number 2, SOP for dealing with accreditation committee operations. Then number 3, we have procedure number 3 for dealing with registration and deregistration committee functions. Number 4, we have disciplinary committee related offenses. Number 5, we have offenses related to management operations. Number 6, we have procedure for disciplinary members and professionals. Number 7, we have procedure for recruitment of staff. Number 8, we have employee induction. Then number 9, we have coordination of internship program. Number 10, we have staff training. Number 11, we have staff motivation and retention. Then we have procedure policy development and review. Then procedure number 12, accreditation of training institutions and service provider documents. Then number 14, we have registration of professionals, like the ones who have just graduated today. Then number 15, we have procedures for professional examination. Number 16, we have procedure for internship program. Number 17, we have procedure for research and scientific publication sharing. Number 18, we have procedures for information technology operations. And number 19, we have guidelines for ethical clearance by Ethics Review Committee and terms of reference. Number 20, we have finance and accounting policies and procedures manual. And number 21, we have remuneration policy. That is Kndi SOP 2016 F20. As I had said,
Thank you, Chair. So,
yes.
Through the major achievements. Purity was, okay. Madam Purity, come.
Good afternoon, all. I'm going to take you through major achievements specific for current council. Number 1, operationalizing the strategic plan for July 2020, June 2025, approving 78 training institutions to admit students pursuing nutrition and dietetics at certificate, diploma, degree levels through frequent inspections and monitoring. 3, registering 14,500 nutrition and dietetic professionals to practice in Kenya. Number 4, making necessary arrangement to ensure timely external financial audit by CPA Moiro Karanja and Associate Company Limited, independent certified accountant for the financial year 2022-2023. Number 5, transforming the following services into online platforms for ease of operation. A, online continuous professional development, known as CPD. portal, B, online index portal, C, online professional examination portal, and D, online registration portal, E, the digital license, registration, clearance, and indexing cards, F, online training institution accreditation portal. Number 6, partnership with Brookside Limited to review the value chain process of probiotics, yogurt brand as part of quality assurance for Kenyans on byproducts of milk consumption in the context of nutrition and well-being claims. Number 7, the proposal to allow professionals free access to the Research 4 live database for journal under Inari, Agora, Aore, Wepo, Agolia has been approved and is operational. Our professionals and research scientists can now access high-quality journal papers for free. Number 8, continuing to improve the KNDI headquarters office block in Machakos County, Sabaki area, Mjengo, Mlolongo, off Mombasa Road to host operational symposium and conferences. Number 9, to strengthen artery program to partner with Machakos County and medical by organizing a comprehensive free medical camp to offer free medical services. Number 10, support the organization of Agenga Training and Research Institute Artery, PLC, to host in nutrition and dietetics, whose thematic area was One Health, with 2,500 delegates, both physically and virtually. There are supportive evidence listed there. Roman 1, opening ceremony. Roman 2, panel discussion. Roman 3, keynote addresses. Roman 4, pre-conference workshop. And Roman 5, reporters. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon once again. Let me read through major challenges and threats. The following are major challenges that face the nutrition and dietetics profession in the last financial year. 1, non-payment of interns, MOH, leading to the temporary suspension of the post-graduation internship program. 2, non-employment of 70% nutritionists and dietitians in the public sector. 3, non-compliant professionals' obligations are mainly fulfilled by already registered professionals, of whom only 40% renew their licenses. 4, interference by various state offices due to inadequate knowledge and awareness of the creation and operations of the Kenya Nutrition and Dietetics Institute within the provisions of CAP 253B. This has led to an action filed in the High Court. Reference number is seen. 5, inadequate funds due to high inflations affecting different income streams. The Institute and, by extension, the Council appeal to both national and county government from a quality and service delivery lens to review this matter of employment of nutritionists and dietitians within the norms and standards on human resource for health to ensure a good number of nutritionists and dietitians are employed. The Institute also appeals to the Ministry of Health to include the nutritionists and dietitians intern stipend in the annual budget to smoothly implement the internship program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we are going to do the strategic focus, and I will do the strategic focus on behalf of Peter, who was supposed to do it on behalf of Chair. The current strategic plan from July 2020 to June 2025 is based on the Institute initial self-assessment, the needs as identified by its legal mandate, and an external analysis of its prevailing context and environment. Careful and critical consideration of all the emerging issues informed the Institute's shoulder definition of the orientation of all its goals, and in a prioritized manner, assigning its objective, strategies and objectives from July 2022 to June 2025. For this period, Kndi will pursue the overall medium-term thematic focus, whose key result areas and results framework include operationalizing the Act, organizational development, generation of resources for better sustainability of the Institute's activities, enhanced universal health coverage, and the food and nutrition security agenda for Kenya. The Institute is therefore committed towards the thematic focus of the current strategic plan with the following objectives in mind. To establish, one is to establish strong pre-service training and capacity building framework for skills, competencies, and empowerment for nutrition and dietetics professionals in the next 5 years. The second objective is to establish a center of excellence in research, coordination, quality assurance, documentation, and innovation in nutrition and dietetics in the next 5 years. 3, establish a resource mobilization investment framework for long-term sustainability of Kndi functions in the next 5 years. To develop, that's the fourth one, is to develop and implement Kndi communication and advocacy strategy in the next 5 years. 5, to strengthen the Kndi Secretariat for effective policy implementation, monitoring and evaluation, law enforcement and inspection in the next 5 years. And the 6th objective is to build a strong partnership with intergovernmental agencies and food/supplement marketing agencies to enhance universal health coverage and food and nutrition security in Kenya in the next 5 years. Partnerships with food industry. Kndi has initiated a partnership with food industry to regulate and market foods and supplements. Kndi is aware that this function is supposed to be achieved by working jointly with other bodies. As an active participant, it reviews foods, food supplements, and fortifiers with nutrient claims. The Institute has successfully completed the review of 2 products demonstrating a potential role in the Food and Drug Authority Technical Committee once the authority is established. The Institute also has a major role in food safety reviews and therefore is a key partner in the coordination of food safety regulation and should not be left out as an agency within the framework of Food Safety Coordination Bill 2021. Partnership with government, non-governmental, and UN agencies. The first 5.2 is regulatory authorities partnership. Kndi currently collaborating with other health sector regulatory authorities on joint health inspections, The regulatory authorities include the Kenya Medical Practitioner Dentistry Council, Pharmacy and Poisons Board, Nursing Council of Kenya, Kenya Medical Laboratories Technician Board, Public Health Officers and Technicians Council, Radiation Protection Board, and the Physiotherapy Council of Kenya. Multi-sectoral partnership, Kndi being a regulatory agency has separated its functions into two aspects, those that are linked to regulation and those that are linked to service delivery. In this context, the managing partner, ATRI PLC, has a well-constructed partnership capacity. ATRI PLC is committed to working with a wide range of public, private NGOs and UN agencies, partners in capacity building and research matters. Depending on the need, Kndi participates in key activities of WHO, FAO, on matters health and nutrition sensitive agriculture, respectively. Kndi also partners with Kenya intergovernmental agencies network, including the national government ministry departments and county governments. Kndi has adequate potential to bring public-private universities to Kenya and beyond by the nature of its creation. The contribution of professionals in the Business Incubation Center, a team of research experts on intergovernmental network and non-governmental agencies would enhance the partnership model and programming matters of the Center for Excellence, as displayed in the organogram below. So there is an organogram which you can be able to see on your screen there. So is Ms. Judith Kobe in to take up the infrastructure? She's not in. Okay. So let me do the infrastructure as well. Infrastructure and expertise. So we have shared facilities and expertise. Kndi being a regulator on research and training of nutritionists and dietitians in Kenya, partners with a number of universities on training. Currently, the Institute approves approves laboratories with specific guidelines with regard to food and nutrition equipment. Some of the key areas highlighted are institutional infrastructure for readiness to conduct research and the availability of state-of-the-art laboratories. Such laboratories must demonstrate the existence of food chemistry laboratories with equipment such as mass spectrophotometer and basic food analysis tools. Again, Kndi has approved and built a working relationship with 6 universities, all of which have working and well-established food chemistry laboratories with mass spectrophotometer machines in operation. This is done in the spirit of self-regulation. The universities include Mount Kenya University, University of Eastern African Baraton, Pwani University, Karatina University, Technical University of Kenya, Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, MUST. All these universities are recognized as partners in research and training on our website, www.kndi.institute, under the accreditation of licensed institutions. Then we have governance assessment, which was now supposed to be okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kerry.
Thank you very much, professionals. I know governance assessment is a function for the chairperson of the council, and because we are a team, we cannot allow her to die alone with this detailed information. So we are only assisting. I'll help the chair. If I was to call today, and I've been called many times to explain whether the board meets or whether committees also meet and how often, and whether there are minutes to that effect, and also whether they assess program. Even just recently, I filled a survey from the e-citizen group asking whether the board have met to discuss matters of e-citizen, assuming that we were a state corporation, and we replied, the CEO had to reply. So professionals and of course the public, this is a transparent institution that is self-regulating, and we have a valid board that is gazetted. The term is still valid. All the board members are validly sitting for meetings to discuss the affairs of the institute. The CEO spearheaded the work plan implementation, that is for the year 2022-2023, and of course 2024, supported by the secretariat team. The implementation approach was executed within the Institute technical, registration, disciplinary, and administrative arms. The technical and registration arms constituted the sectional units aligned by the council, aligned to the council accreditation committee. Disciplinary matters are coordinated by the office of the CEO and legal expert on retainer and handled by the council's disciplinary committee. It was reported we don't have the disciplinary committee cases so far. So we only had one which was resolved. The CEO's office handled administration to support and coordinate all operations, including council committees, and management. The Finance, Administration, and HR Committee supported the CEO's office on finance and human resource matters on behalf of the council to ensure efficiency and also effectiveness in administration. The Audit and Risk Committee participated in the review of financial audited accounts and a roadmap for risk assessment. What happens in this case is that the Committee on Audit, they review internal audit processes. At the same time, they meet once with the external auditors to review the report before it is presented to the council and finally to the AGM. So they did that. The CEO monitors the progress of various operations on day-to-day basis and reports to the council on quarterly basis. So statutorily, council meets every quarter. And the following matrix that is shown there, I don't know why you're not scrolling that. I don't know why you're not sharing. I don't need my picture. So if you look at the matrix which is put there, that is the number of meetings for council and council committees. In the last financial year, the council met 4 times every quarter. And there are minutes to that effect which are in record. The accreditation committee also met 4 times. So before council, each committee must meet. And then Finance Administration Committee met 4 times, which means the council met 12 times. The Audit and Risk Committee met once, and there are minutes to that effect. We didn't have disciplinary committee meeting. It was 0. Resource Mobilization Committee also met once. Now, in that report, you will also notice, because now we have reached a level that we have to be transparent, we have also individual members' attendance for meetings. There are valid reasons where members didn't attend. In general, the attendance is 90% for council members. They have never missed meetings, except for unavoidable circumstances. You should clap for council members, because the public would want to know why they were given the responsibility to do that. If you can see The Statutory Council, you can see there 4 meetings with minutes and record. All council members have attended the meeting. Maybe 1 or 2 for valid reasons. Also, you can see Finance Committee, they have attended all the meetings. Don't say that they attended because probably it's finance, but it was 100%. To challenge that, Accreditation Committee also, members attended the meetings, and also the audit, they were all present. So that is to just explain to the professionals that the boards are meeting and they are not running, the institution is not being run from the bush. There are frequent meetings with records of minutes and discussions. And so everything tabled is actually discussed by the council. So, Madam Chair, if you allow me, I can go for the next one, which also touches on finance. I think because after that, then we can have the auditor's report played for us. If you accept, I can go on.
Go ahead, CEO.
So, professionals, of course, members, I want to go through the financial analysis, and this is very critical, very core also, for us to understand how Kndi operates. Now, I want to explain, having been allowed, that self-regulation is not a concept that many people understand, including the executive. And those who advise the executive also don't understand what self-regulation means. And because this is going to be recorded, we want it to remain in YouTube so that anybody can come back again and play it. Self-regulation, before I start reading the provisions of finance, means that you are supposed to regulate yourself as a professional. And so you are given an act which directs you on how to self-regulate based on a council. It also means that you are not supposed to receive any exchequer money or money appropriated through consolidated funds by Parliament. In many occasions, Parliament have asked why I am not accompanying the PS when they are going to discuss the budget. And my answer is always, the provisions of the Act does not allow me to pick government money, even if I was willing to do so. The only thing I can get from government and the council can use is subventions, which means one grant or one-off grant justified that Parliament allocates directly to an institution. In that case, the Office of the Auditor General can come to audit the use of that grant. We did one to ask Parliament to give us 500 million to do food industry, food product review in the country, and they didn't get back to us. We don't know whether they were broke or they gave someone, but we didn't see it. So far, we have not gotten that. That's the only way we can receive money from public money. Otherwise, we receive money from you, the professional, and myself. We receive money from research we conduct, from value chain for food industry, from expertise given to training institutions to improve their standards based on 11 standards. And we also do that with donations. Those who offer to partner with us, maybe to do medical camp, they can also provide grants. That is how the institution is running, and it's about the professional expertise. So that's self-regulation. The only self-regulating institution in Kenya, not the only, but the institutions that self-regulate in Kenya include Kenya Nutritionist and Dietitians Institute, which is yours. The Law Society of Kenya is another one. ISPAC is another one. Institute of Supplies, I was told recently they received some money from government. So they qualify as state corporation. So you understand this very well. That is what it means by self-regulation. It means we are richer than the government. in as much as the total income might not go beyond 70 million, but we are richer than the government. Why? The functions we do equated would have costed government some money, but then they're not using their money to do those functions. You, the professional, you're doing it, and also the expertise in the profession are doing. Can we clap for ourselves? So I want you to understand this from section 27 of the Act. That's why I was saying you must read the Act. The Nutritionist and Dietitians Act, Dietitians Institute, is created as a non-exchequer parliamentary agency with a full mandate to generate its own funds to perform its function. Now, Part 4 of that Act, you can take notes of that. Part 4 of the Nutritionist Act specifies that the funds of the Institute comprise such money as may accrue to or vest in the Institute in the course of the exercise of its powers and performance of its functions under the Act and under any other written law, like the Companies Act, if we have a subsidiary institute within the institute. And all money from any other source provided for, donated, or lent to the institute. So we are allowed to get donations. If you are a richer professional, you can come and donate so that we do countrywide campaign for malnutrition for children. You're allowed to bring your money. If you have an investor, you're allowed to bring your money. We can also be lent by the bank to do functions, as long as we have the capacity to pay back. We can also get professional subscriptions from you. We can also get training institutional approval fee based on expertise from universities, colleges, and food companies from foods that have nutrition claims. You see the sources of funds? They are all specified under section. Now, in that listing, there is no consolidated funds. And so, anybody who understands what it means by exchequer cannot ask Kndi why they're not called a state corporation or a parastatal, or why they're not in e-citizen. The explanation we are giving is very simple. That if government gives you money, 50 plus 1, and the government allows you to collect the remaining 49 from the public, then you qualify as a state corporation or a parastatal, and therefore the government has all the rights to check how much you have collected so that they can allocate you what is left. That is called appropriation in aid. We have zero appropriation in aid, so we don't qualify. Under 9.3, financial year and estimates. Now, financial year of the Institute is 12 years, and it is in the Act ending, 12 months, ending June 30th each year, and those annual estimates are to pay for salaries of staff, allowances, and other charges, respect of the council, the CEO, the corporation secretary, and all the staff that are engaged, either internally or externally. Payment of pensions, gratuities, and other charges in respect of the members of the council, the CEO, corporation secretary, proper maintenance of the premises of the institute. You can see we have a very beautiful office. Some of our sisters and colleagues don't have. They got shocked whether we have this much to build. I think that's why they are very much interested to see. This office did not cost more than 51 million in total, including assets. If that was government, you know what that means. If they were to build this, you know what that means. How much would have been used? Maybe 50 million would go to the cutting of grass. The maintenance, repair, and replacement of equipment is there. the creation of such reserve funds to meet future or contingency liabilities. For a state corporation, if they save money from what they have collected, the rule is very clear from National Treasury. They are supposed to return 80% of their profit, even for parastatals, so that they are allocated again and allowed to collect more. For us, we are supposed to buy land, buy government security, buy anything that will bring money, or create an institution like ATRI that is going to make more money. And not only ATRI, create research university, which is coming, just like the KCA University. So your money should be able to do that. And then also in the same section, we are told that at the end, within the first phase of every financial year, the institute should present a statement of income and expenditure and a statement of assets and liability to the members. That is why we are here, so you'll get the recording of the entire audited report from the external auditors. At an AGM, this is AGM, the only problem is that our professionals are not they are lazy when it comes to attending AGM. However, because of COVID, technology has made it possible for us to sit here, and they sit there online. And after this, it will remain in YouTube as long as you leave. So whoever wants to go back can still go and play back if they have time. So today we are in the AGM to present that audited account, and I think the chair will give us a direction on that. Our audited accounts are done by the external auditors, Muiro Karanja and Associates, and they have completed the process and handed over to the council for the AGM. If you look at the analysis of the income trend from 2018 to 2024, are you there? Technical, you're sleeping. You can see 2018, we had 41 million. 2019, we had 70 million collected. 2020, we had 58 million, that's during COVID. 2021, we had 74 million. 2022, we had 54 million. And 2023, we had 101 million. Now, 2023, 101 came as a result of the professionals that were deregistered, and the courts allowed them to come back. So they surged the income. It is not real income. They still have it, as you'll see in the audited account. 2024, we had 80 million. That 80 million, 111, we consider it income as accrued, not income in cash. I'm not a financial person, but what that means is that income as per the invoices for that particular year. So if the professionals have not renewed their licenses, they receive invoice, it becomes part of income, but if the year ends before they pay, it is taken to debts. And you'll notice when the audited accounts are mentioned, the debts are bigger than what has been acquired and they are owed by the professionals. That means that the deficit is with the professionals. So this incomes gives us deficits. We are supposed to have a budget of 100 million and we never reach 100 million. But we use volunteers to also do functions of the institute when they're not paid what is supposed to be paid. For example, if Professor Nguka is here today and we want his services in the media tomorrow, we tell him just hold on for one night, we book you accommodation, then you go to media. We don't pay him. He has offered a professional service. But we quantify it in terms of monetary equivalent. What would we have paid him if it was real money? That is how the institution has survived. So you'll notice that we are doing very well, and our worth, which is called equity and liability. Equity means the net worth of an institution, that if it was to be sold today, how much would that institution be sold? And that is 2021, we were at 121 million. 2022, 122, 2023, 167 million, and 2024, 167 million. Some difference in hundreds. What that means is that if we were to sell Kndi today, that is the amount of money Kndi would be sold. Now, the professionals are owing some money. The Kndi is also owing some suppliers. When all that is put together, we still worth 164 for sale. So tomorrow, if we put on notice Kndi is for sale, an investor who wants, of course, if government allows, then you will come with 167. Am I right, Kumugenya? You know, I'm becoming now an accountant. Okay. So with this, the chair just wanted to display the analysis trend so that our professionals can know how money comes in, how money goes, and which money we are supposed to receive. Now, I want to say this. No one hates money. True? Is there any one of you who hates money? If government said today that they want to give Kenya 1 billion, do you think I will refuse? How many of you, or will you refuse? But now, me, I will not take. Because the law does not allow me to take that money. We are law-abiding citizens. Are you hearing? Did it come to you? I know why I'm saying that, because many times I've been told, why don't you like this money? And I say, I don't like the money because there is no framework for collecting the money. And if you give it to me today, the next time you'll turn me to a KEMSA CEO and say that, didn't you know the law when you were doing this? Madam Chair, that is the statement, and it is now time for you to invite the auditor's report, which, of course, I want to inform you that it is duly recorded from the council. Due to the unavoidable circumstances, we wanted the auditors to be here. They have not come, but they have given us a full record, which the IT will play, and then we can have our questions. We are also going to give a 14-day notice for members to submit to us any queries from the same report, as well as receiving the actual report in their app to scrutinize it. Not all of us are accountants, Chair, so some of us may not hear or listen, but we believe that when they get time, they can ask their friends who are accountants whether things are okay. But one thing I want to say before you start playing, and before, Chair, you allow us, is that when that finishes, I'd request you that we can go to the revised fees of the current fees we are charging, so that the professionals can also be aware. But also, before that, I want to also brag that from 2010, active participation of Kndi in service, we started with the income of 900,000. We have now moved to 70. And since that time, we have been using what we call accrual system of auditing, which is income earned as earned, not as received. Which means if we give you invoice, whether you pay or not, we recognize it as income. And that accrual system of auditing, it is when the government has woken up now to start adopting it. They were using cash-based. And you know cash-based is making people lazy. They know money will come anyway, so they don't care. For us, even the chair you sit on has a number, and it cannot get lost. So with that, Madam Chair, I would want to get it back to you. If you can invite the audited report in record, then we can start playing that. I also want to assure you that the report is part of your report, so professionals will access the hard copy signed. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO, for that clarification and good report that you have been able to assist in reading. So I now welcome the auditor's report so that it can be played for the sake of the professionals. Thank you.
Okay. Chair of the council and the council members, good morning.
Morning to you.
It's my pleasure once again to present the financial statements for year 2024. And I would request Joki Chege, member, Director General. Yes, I can confirm.
Okay.
I can confidently confirm that's the report. So we can go to page 1.
I just confirm if that's the report.
So
Maybe
you can play it loud because
the
person is not
take
we
me
can
to
go
page.
there.
Yes, take me to page 6. Okay. Chair of the council and the council members, good morning.
Morning to you.
It's my pleasure once again to present the financial statements for year 2024. And I would request the admin kindly to project them for me.
I just confirm if that's the report. Maybe let me
take
I
me
can
to
go.
page. Yes, take me to page 6. Page 6. Yes, I can confirm.
Okay.
I can confidently confirm that's the report. So we can go to page 1.
We are at page 1. Yes.
Chair, if you allow me, can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I would want to read the members of the council who held office in that in the year under review, and the year under review is the year 2024, which stretches from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. And the members who held office were Dr. R. Dr. Evelyn Grikata, the chairperson, Ms. Judith Kobe, a member, CPA Peter Nda, a member, Ms. Bernice Kndi, member, Professor Buka Gordon, member, Ms. Purity Joki Chege, member, Director General MOH, member, Director of Nutrition Services, member, Dr. David Omondi Okeo, CEO, and ex-officio member. Those were the members in the register that was presented to us. If the council can confirm that we have not left any member or have a member who is currently not a member. Chair.
Thank you. CEO, can you increase the font size so that members, yes, that's okay. That's okay. And these are the members of the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The institutes, banks that were presented, Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Kilimani branch, Yaya Center, Family Bank Limited, Kilimani branch at Yaya Center, and NCBA Bank at Industrial Area, and the registered office is still at Kndi, Lolongo, and the auditors is at CPA Moyuro Karanja and Associates, and the partner, I myself, Karanja, is the one presenting. So let's go straight to the council members' reports. And the council members submit their report together with the financial statements for the year ended that is June 2024, which disclose the state of affairs of the institutes. The principal activities of the institute, as highlighted, is to register and certify all professional nutritionists and dietitians, to register and approve all institutions training nutritionists and dietitians, and to regulate standards and practices of the profession. These results are as reflected in our page 6. So the page 3 is on council members' responsibility. Chair, do I need to read the responsibility of the council? I'm very sure by this time, we've read it so many times that the council is quite aware of what they are supposed to do.
I think to go ahead, don't read.
Thank you so much. Now I'll go to our report on page 4. Thank you. So we have financial CPI.
CPA, you are breaking, CPA.
Okay. We conduct, in our opinion, can you hear me now? Am I still breaking?
We can hear you now.
Okay. We have audited the Institute's financial statements of Kenya Institute of and Dietitian Institute set out in page 5 to 14. In our opinion, the Institute's financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the Institute as at 30th June 2024 and of its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards and the requirement of the Kenyan Companies Act 2015. Our basis of the opinion is that we conducted our audit in accordance with the International Standards on Auditing, that is ISAs. Our responsibility under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements in the section of our report. We are independent of the institutes in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board of Accountants Code of Ethics and Professionals. Other information. The council members are responsible for the information. The other information comprises the information included in the annual report, but does not include the financial statements and our auditor's report thereon. Our opinion on the financial statement does not cover the other information, and we do not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with the audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit of otherwise appear to be materially misstated. If based on our work we have performed, we conclude that there is a material misstatement of this other information, we are required to report the facts. At that point, you have nothing to report in this regard. Council members' responsibility for the financial statements. The council members are responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards and the requirement of public audit in Kenya, and for such control as the council members determine is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, the council members are responsible for assessing the institute's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting, unless the council members either intend to liquidate the institute or cease operations, or have no realistic alternative but to do so. Auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statement. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statement as a whole are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is high-level assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISAs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of this financial statement. Continuation, our auditor's responsibility for the audit of the financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISAs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also, number one, identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or errors, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that's sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for one resulting from an error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentation of the override of internal control. Number two, we obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the institution's internal controls. Number three, we evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Number four, we have to conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to the events or conditions that may cast significant doubt on the organization's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report, the related disclosures in the financial statements, or if such disclosures are inadequate to modify our opinion, our conclusions are based on an audit evidence obtained up to the date of the auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the institute to cease to continue as a going concern. Four, we evaluate the overall presentation structures, contents of the financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieve fair presentation. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiency, internal control that we identify during our audits. Report on the matters prescribed by the public audit requirements. In our opinion, the information given in the report of the council members on page 3 is consistent. Financial. Signed by me, Sami Karanja, practice 2132, the engagement partner responsible for the audits. The report signed on 30th September 2024. So now we can go to figure work, and we go straight to the statement of comprehensive income, page 6. Chair, am I still audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you so much. So we go to the statement of comprehensive income. This is the statement that shows the income for the institute and the expenditure thereon. I'll go through it, then I think we go to the notes of the explanatory notes that are in subsequent pages, or I read an item and go directly to the explanatory notes. My suggestion is that I go through the income statement and then we go to the explanatory note. Is that agreeable, Chair?
It's in order.
Thank you. The income for the institute, as we'll go to note number 2, for the year 2024 was 80,110,170 compared to 111,886,821 for the previous year. And the expenditure were registration expenses of 234,400. There was no registration the previous year. There is internship expenses of 94,000 compared to 333,144 for the previous year. Examination units of 4,160,386 compared to 3,195,875 for the previous year. There is assurance and research units of 5,663,318 compared to last year's 5,107,180. There is the council expense of 3,669,610 compared to 4,138,665 for the previous year. There is administrative expenses. These are the forms, the big chunk of the expense of running the institute, which is 57,381,354 compared to 56,445,632 for the previous year. There is ATRI, artery programs, at 5,934,800 compared to last year's 3,617,477. And there is depreciation of assets at 1,824,601 for the current year compared to 2,204,976. Total expense for the period was 78,962,469 compared to last year 75,042,770. So the year had a surplus of 1,147,702 compared to last year's 36,844,051. In that regard, I would request we go to the explanatory notes so that we can explain those notes. So take me to page 10. Thank you. So this is a breakdown of the income for the year. The membership and subscription arrears for the current year is 26,700,000 compared to last year's 45,787,815. This is the 2,000 paid by every member. The private practice and continuous program development is 159,828 compared to last year's 1,128,189. Artery programs 7,445,791 compared to last year's 8,138,704. Endorsement of products was 2.5 million. We didn't have endorsements last year. Professional registration licensing, we had 7,182,000 compared to last year 6,816,560. Indexing examination, income was 10,026,610 compared to last year's 11,275,311. Training institutions brought 19,591,348 compared to last year's 23,450,000. Interests 1,722,627 compared to last year's 106. Upgrade on core clusters 5,912,400 compared to last year's 15,291,36. Curriculum review 200,000 compared to last year's 0. And insurance reimbursements of 390,477 compared to last year's 0. So the total income comes to 80,110,470 compared to 111,866,821. I can take a question on income, or do I move to the expense section?
Maybe, Chair, just before it goes to the expense, if you allow me, I can make some clarification to the council members.
That's okay. That's okay.
When it comes to artery programs, you can see that below in 2023, we have a dash below the 8 million. And the reality is that this dash here is supposed to be, we have introduced a line of endorsement of products with the current practice now. So this 8 million still has 2.5 in it from the artery programs. Here on the left-hand side, 2024, these two here, we have 2.5 separated from the 7. So it may, from the look, somebody might appear like, it might appear that artery programs has a reduction, but the total, if it is for comparison purposes, should be about 9 million plus. I hope I'm correct, Muiru.
Absolutely. You're very right, Dr.
Yep. Yep.
Chair,
Okay.
the other clarification that I would want to make is on income on member subscription. I know a member might want to ask, was there a drop, that kind of a drop from 45 million in 2023 to 26 million in this year? And the explanation to that is that in the year 2023, in early 2023, there are some members who are reinstated, and they were around 5,000. And when they were billed for the previous years, this is why the reason why the income for 2023 from members and subscription appears to be higher compared to 26,700 for the current year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that is the income. We can now go to the expense. The registration expenses, that is mapping, survey, and research, had an expense of 234,400 compared to last year where we had none. Then we have internship expenses, where we had last year we had intern orientation that costed 121,744. We didn't have the same in the year under review. Intern assessment for the current year we had none, but last year we had 195,100. Intern competency building costed 94,000 for the current year and 20,900. Total of internship expenses coming to 94,000. Then we have note number 5 that explains examination units. Exam setting and moderation, we didn't have any expense for the current year, but we had 25,500 for the previous year. Exam administration, we had 1,399,500 for the current year and 837,600 for the previous year. Exam marking and grading, we didn't have any expense for the current year, but we had 151 for the previous. Special upgrading exam, we have 2,768,86 for the current year compared to 2,181,775 for the previous year. So the total amount of expense attributable to examination unit was 4,160,386 compared to 3,195,875 for the previous year. Number 6, we go to expense related to assurance and research units. We have site inspection of 4,818,500 compared to 3,834,500. We have annual conference, journal and research of 42,000. We had that expense the previous year. Curriculum review 297,018 compared to 106,400 for the last year. Continuing professional development, we didn't have that in the current year, but we had 64,000 previous year. RRI/MOH, we had an expense of 505,800 compared to last year's 1,102,280. So expense attributable to assurance and research was total of 5,663,318 compared to 5,107,180 for the previous year. Note number 7 explains the Kndi Council members' expenses that total 3,669,610 for the current year compared to 4,138,665 for the previous year, broken down as statutory council meetings costed 351,400 for the current year compared to 996,60 the previous year. Statutory accreditation meetings.
What you are reading is not showing. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we are in note number 7. We are there. So I'd say the council expenditure is at 3,669,610 compared to 4,138,665 and is broken down as here under. Statutory council meetings hosted 351,400 for the current year compared to 996,60 for the previous. Statutory accreditation meetings 252,500 and 174 for the previous year. Advocacy, lobbying, and communication at 521,700. In committee, yes. And there was none in the previous year. License award ceremony /AGM 830,110 for the current year and 1,037,505 for the previous. Workshops, seminars, and technicals hosted 112,600 compared to 25,500 previous year. Statutory financial audit and HR committee extended to 97,000 compared to 94,500 the previous year. AGM and SGM costed 209,500 compared to 174,700 for the previous year. We have council chairs office expense costing 1,031,800 compared to 1,365,300 for the previous. Audit committee 63,000 compared to 133,000. Resource mobilization had no expenditure the current year, but it had 143 the previous year, totaling to 3,669,610 for the current year, 4,138,605 for the previous year. That's the Kndi Council expenses. So we go to administrative expenses, note number 8. This is the running expenses, the operating expenses of the office, and I'll go through them. They are broken down as below. Postage and mailing 29,490 current year, 14,420 previous year. Post office box rental 9450 and 9450, no change for that. Staff recruitment, there was none in the current year, but 35,000 for the previous. Legal fees and related expenditure 345,909 compared to 500 previous year. Media and publicity expenses of 432,940 current year compared to 191,336. Salaries 30,441,927 compared to last year's 30,412,152, almost similar. Motor vehicle expenses of 1,140,173 compared to last year 698,418. Motor vehicle and asset insurances at 168,306 compared to last year's 268,845. The group medical insurance 1,264,655 compared to 449,538. GLA, GPA, and WIBA insurance covers 342,701, 239,289 for the previous year. Office expenses 2,227,25,493 current, 1,815,186 previous year. Newspaper and magazines 33,000 for the current year, didn't have any expense for the previous. Telephone 317,500 previous year and 382,92 for the current year, 382,92 for the previous year. Electricity at 221,000 for the current year, 198 for the previous. Printing and branding 492. Let's move on. 492,708 for the current year, 534,770 for the previous. Staff training and capacity building, didn't have any expense the current year, but we had 45 the previous year. Leave travel expenses 257,000 current year, we didn't have any for the previous. Audit fee 154,000 for the current year, 220 for the previous. Benevolent office safety expense 100,000, we didn't have any. Benevolent fund, we didn't have any current year, but we had 111 for the previous year. Are we still together, Chair?
Yes, we are together.
Thank
Go
you.
on.
Thank you so much. CSR 6,800 for the current year, 541,898 for the previous. International travels 1,152,907 for the current year, 907,111 for the previous. Then we have management and staff meetings 295,000 the current year compared to 126,31 previous year. Then we have gratuity of 7,049,692 compared to last year's 8,091,390. Resource mobilization, we didn't have any expenditure this year, but we had 373,400 the previous year. We have non-signatory allowances 70,000 this year compared to last year's none. Salary advance 20,000 compared to last year's none. We have transport facilitation 193,885 current year, 175,620 previous year. Staff parties and retreat 119,370 for the current year, 0 in the previous. Interest and bank charges of 171,624 compared to 184,239. Then we have external technicals of 606,220 compared to 958,200. We have refunds of 28,000 current year compared to 95,500 previous year. Repairs and maintenance of 2,467,165 compared to last year's 2,646,031. Staff welfare of 215,000 compared to last year's none. We have wages of 1,878,823 compared to last year's 1,905,725. We have debt collection of 350,966 compared to last year's 586,730. Then we have interest charge of 3,124,163 compared to last year 3,104,057. So in comparison, we have total for the administrative expenses for the year 57,381,354 and 56,445 for the previous year. That's the biggest chunk of expenditures. The other expenditure in note number 9, the artery programs. The total is 5,934,800 for the current year compared to 3,617,477 for the previous year. and is broken down as research and innovation of 4,276,984 compared to last year's 3,017,477. We have community outreach and partnership for this year, for the current year, 781,410. We had none in the previous year. Business incubation of 337,906. We had none for the previous year. Capacity building of 183,500, none for the previous year, and 555,000 for governance, and none for the previous year. Total 5,934,800, 3,617,477. And lastly is depreciation of assets, which is a non-monetary item but still considered as an expense, is 1,824,601, 2,204,796 for the previous year. So total expense for the period 78,962,469 compared to 75,042,770. That's the total expense. So we can go back to the income. Page 6. So in a nutshell, we have income of 80 million. Go up. There we are. Thank you. We have income of 80,110,170 for the current year. 78,962,469 is expense, and we have a surplus of 1,147,702. That's a statement of comprehensive income, which has been explained in the notes that we've just gone through. So I can go to the statement of financial position as of 30th June 2024. Chair, you allow me to continue?
Maybe, Chair, before the CPA moves, because as we have been educated, we also want council members to be educated. This income you are referring to, maybe you need to shed light, because you have been doing that from time to time on the accrual basis, because when you see a surplus like 36 for 840, somebody might think that there was money. So you need to shed light on the method you are using.
Thank you, CEO.
I know the CPAs within are understanding, but maybe some of us may not.
Thank you, CEO. Madam Chair, as I read on the basis of our preparation of this statement, the basis that we use is accrual basis. Accrual basis, in a sense, means that we recognize income when it's earned. In this case, the income earned is when an invoice is sent to a member, like for instance, for subscription. Immediately the office dispatch. Somebody's mic is on.
It's okay.
Thank you. I was explaining, we use accrual basis, which basically states that income is recognized as earned, but not necessarily when cash is received. This means the income that we have depicted as income, for reason of the income statement, is income recognized when an invoice is sent, but not necessarily when that income is received. Like for instance, for the current year, the 26,700,000 are the invoices that were dispatched to 13,350 members at 2,000 shillings. But in actual sense, only 21 million was received. So we have 5 million that was not received. The income statement recognized the whole income, but in that income, there is the debt element for that is not paid. So that when we talk of surplus, it's actually a book figure, because somebody might want to ask me, so in a sense, you are saying we had 1,147,000 in the bank at that time. That's not the case. Or rather, for last year, somebody might ask, do we have this 36 million in the bank? The answer is no, because after dispatching the invoice, the income is recognized at that time. But then there's the debt element of how much of these 45 million that you dispatched was received. I don't know whether I'm clear there, Bwana CEO.
Yes. That is clear for me.
Thank you so much.
And I think I also want to believe council members.
So that means there are invoices that were sent out and cash was not received.
Absolutely. And that forms the chunk of what we call receivables or debtor.
Okay.
So the invoices gives the income.
The invoice,
The list
that
of
is how
invoices.
that is how we recognize the income. Accrual basis.
So you recognize, yeah. Okay.
Yes. And that's why maybe at this juncture is I would want to differentiate between accounting done on accrual basis and the cash basis. The cash basis means that the income is recognized when the cash is received. So that if you send an invoice, the only time you recognize that as income is when the actual income is received from that invoice that you send. But in our case here, we use accrual basis, which is the recommended for this kind of institutions, where an income is recognized when it's earned, and the level of earning is when an invoice is dispatched.
Okay. Okay. So when an invoice is dispatched and cash not received, it becomes a receivable.
It becomes a receivable. It's a debt actually, and a debt for balance sheet purposes is an asset.
Okay. That's okay.
If somebody owes you even in your personal balance sheet, you'll always recognize it as an asset. Even if it's not you going to receive, you might pay your children one day. Any other
correct
questions?
I hear you.
Thank you so much. So if no other, Daktari, can I go to the statement of financial position as at 30th June?
The chair is was allowed. Just go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Go ahead.
Asante. So we are on page 7. Take us to page 7. This is the statement of financial position as at 30th June 2024, or rather the balance sheet of the institute. So as the standard requires, just like the income statement, there must be comparative year, and our comparative year is 2023. Our current year is 2024, and as I mentioned, the years run from July 1st to June 30th. So the current year, 2024, ran from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. And the previous year, the same. So we had a non-current assets, as we will go to notes, at 65,193,450 compared to last year's 66,481. Then we have cash and cash equivalents of 568,955 compared to 703,389. Then we have accounts receivable. The accounts receivable is just what I was trying to explain. These are the debts that the institute is owed by various entities, including members, at 109, 175, 849 compared to last year's 100, 152. So the total current assets stands at 109, 744, 804 compared to last year's 100, 855, 689. When that is added to the non-current asset, total asset now comes to 174, 938, 255 compared to last year's 167, 337, 578. These assets are represented by the following. We have a loan of 18,304,451 for the current year, which was 20,327,317 for the previous. So the loan has come down with around 2 million. We have accounts payable. Accounts payable, these are debts owed by the institute to outsiders of 40,077,813 compared to 31,597,922. So total current liabilities at 58,378,264 and 51,925,289 for the current year. And the funds balance at 116,559,991 compared to 115,412,289. So the total liability stands at 116,599,991, and the balance sheets, the balances at 174,938,255 and 167,337,578 for the previous year. Maybe you can go to the explanatory notes, and we start with notes number 12.
Maybe Karanja, just CPA, before you go next, you have made a statement on 60 underline number account payable. You talk about 40,077 owed to other people outside the institute. Does it
Yes.
include the gratuity? Because there are gratuities for people inside.
Actually, that's the thank you for correction. I think it's not be right for me to say outside. These payables are rather, these are debts owed by the institute to various entities, including staff.
I want you to correct that. Yes.
Thank you for that correction. Thank you, CEO, for that correction. Actually, the position is that it's owned to various entities, internal included.
Maybe the chair, he can continue.
Let him go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, we are at note number 12. These are non-current assets, and as we said, what was brought forward from the previous year was 73,344,606, and the depreciation charge for the period was land and building, which is not charged depreciation. We have motor vehicle depreciation was charged at 788,141. Furnitures and fittings depreciation was charged at 339,259. Computer and equipment depreciation was charged at 297,201. So total depreciation charged for the period is 1,824,601. Somebody can remember this figure. I had said when we are going through the comprehensive statement of income is an expense which is actually a non-current, a non-cash expense, because a loss of an asset or a depreciation of asset is treated as an expense for the organization because that asset must have depreciated in the course of use for the benefit of the institute. That's why it's allowed as an expense for income and expenditure statement. So that is the accumulated depreciation brought forward was 6,326,555. When you add that, the depreciation charge for the year, the depreciation was 8,151,156. When you less to the brought forward of the assets of the previous year of 73,344,606, we have the NBV, or rather the net book value for assets, at 65,193,450, as you saw in the statement of financial position for non-current assets. So we go to note number 13. This is cash and cash equivalent. In Cooperative Bank, these are the balances that were running as at 30th June 2024. We had 536,792 in Cooperative Bank. Same period last year, we had 625,505. In Family Bank, we had 1,565,000. We had 15,090 for the previous year. In NCBA, we had 30,411 compared to 32,067. Family projects account, we had 188, 30,788. So the total cash that we had was 568,956 compared to 703,390. And at this level, maybe it's also good to reiterate. If you look at what we have as surplus, it's around 1 million from the statement of comprehensive income. But actual money we had was 568, so there's a difference. That one is brought by the basis of preparation, as we said, that money earned is not necessarily the money that comes in. So trade and other receivables, we had a brought forward from the previous year of receivables of 108,893,349 compared to 99,869 for the previous year. Then we have rent deposit. This is the deposit that we pay for rent, which has been there for both years of 282,500. So in a sense, the receivables is 109,175,849, as you saw in the balance sheet. This is the money that the institute is owed. Actually both inside and outside, because I would want to treat members who are yet to pay their subscription as insiders. So that is what is owed to the institution. Then there's a loan of 18,300,451, as you saw it. It was 20,327,000. It has reduced with around 2 million. Then you have trade and other payables. This is what we are just explaining. This is money that the institute owes entities, both internal, including staff gratuities, and outsiders, 40,077,812 the current year, compared to 31,597,922. And note number 7 is the fund balance, where we have the fund balance brought forward from the previous year of 115,412,288. This one, for us to get the fund balance for the current year, we add to it the surplus that we made for the year from the income statement of 1,147,702, so that we have a fund balance of 115,599,990. So in a sense, that's the balance sheet, and it's prepared and reporting Kenya shillings. So unless somebody has a question on, you can go back to the statement of financial position in page 7, I think. Yes, page 7, which we have just gone through. Unless somebody has a question or clarification, I can go to the last statement, which is the statement of cash flow.
So members, if there is anybody with possibly a question, we are free to ask before we go to the next level with the auditor. Auditor, you can go ahead.
Thank you. The last statement that we are mandatorily supposed to read to the members is the statement of cash flow. This is a statement that dictates how the funds came in and moved out. And
which page?
Page 8, statement of cash flow. Down. There. Yeah. Thank you. We start with the operating activities, and cash flow from operating activities is to start by bringing down the surplus for the year from the income statement, which was 1,142,702 compared to last year, 36,844,451. We adjust for depreciation. It does not, as I had said earlier, depreciation does not involve movement of cash, so we adjust for it. 1,824,601 compared to last year, 2,204,796. Then we bring in the changes in operating assets and liabilities. Changes means the movement that it made, either positive or negative movement from the previous year to the current year. And trade and other payables moved with 8,479,840, which was an increment. Remember, from the balance sheet, there's movement from 32 million to 40 million for trade payables. And trade receivables moved with in the same direction, with 9 million negative 023,549, 41, 381, 844 for the previous year. So that cash from operating activity stands at 2,428,895 compared to negative 1,039,472 for the previous years. Then we have cash flow from investing activities. And in this year, we had purchase of assets. If you go to the statement number 12, note number 12 that we have read, the asset schedule, we'll see increase in assets with this amount, 536,160. So the institute invested in assets of 536,163. Then we have net cash generated from investing activities at this one, less the cash operating from our operating activities. We have now a net of 1,892,431 compared to last year, 7,460,423. Then we bring now cash flow from financing activities, and we have the loan. The loan, as I told you, moved from 20 million to 18. That can be shown from the balance sheet. So the movement was of 2 million. The company must have paid 2 million. So that the movement in cash and cash equivalent net at only negative 134,435 compared to 926,183 for the previous year. And the net movement in cash and cash equivalent is that cash and cash equivalent at start of the year, the last cash and cash equivalent that we closed in the previous year was 703,389, then decreased at 134,435, and cash equivalent at the end of the year is at 568,954, 703,389. And if you remember in the explanatory notes, this is the amount that we had in the banks for that particular moment. I know this sometimes the cash flow movement, not everybody understands, including many accountants, but that's the way it is. So, Chair, those are the three statements that are mandatory that we should read. And if allowed, then I can continue with the other information.
Kindly continue.
So on page 9, and our last is that the accounting policies, the accounts are prepared under the historical cost convention. Historical cost convention meaning that the data carried forward from inception, that's where you see a lot of accumulations. That's the basis. Revenue recognition, revenue from members, fees and subscription, training, institute, private practice, indexing and renewal, fees, those are where we get our income. There's no foreign currency, so that's just a note which is there. The Institute on Taxation, by its nature of operation, is exempted from income taxes. But the income taxes here, in this case, we are talking of the corporate tax, because the Institute is still liable to pay the pay-as-you-earn deducted from members. There is no exemption to that. And the expenditure is recognized when payments are made. Unlike in income, at the end of the year, cash and cash equivalent, for the purpose of the cash flow statement, cash and cash equivalent comprises cash in hand and cash at bank. Read, you saw it in the explanatory notes. Then comparatives, where necessary, comparative figures have been adjusted to conform to changes in presentation in the current year. And in our case, we've not adjusted anything because they are comparing. And depreciation is at the rates prescribed, which is furniture and fitting at 12.5%, computer and electronics at 30.0%, and we are using the reducing balance method for application. So, Chair, that's the report, and I'm grateful to having presented it. And at that juncture, maybe I would want to bring to the Council's attention that we received the cooperation that we required. The expenditures have been thoroughly vouched and verified, and the report is an unqualified report. There was agreement between the statements that were prepared and the ledgers that were provided to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that comprehensive audit report that you presented to us.
Thank you, Chair.
I think I also want to thank the Secretariat and the CEO for having given you maximum cooperation during your operation.
Thank you.
And at this time, I want to welcome members so that they can investigate the report.
Okay. Chair of the Council and the Council members, good morning.
To continue, the chair has stepped aside a bit. I don't know where he has gone, but that is the end of the report. It is just online. You can play it as much as you can. Here we are as transparent as you have seen. All those who have not joined can still go back and go through it. A hard copy of the report you will get online. You can scrutinize it if you are an accountant. Meanwhile, for now, I want to assume that everybody here is a professional. Professor, being young is not very good. You keep on running.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of the chair, I will take care of this session accordingly, and thank you, CEO, for standing in when I'm still running around. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, members of the profession of nutrition and dietetics, you have seen the audited accounts as presented by the CPA Mwiru Karanja. And now the next step is just to have questions around that, either online. But before that, I think we need to adopt the report. Yeah? Okay. So let's have questions come in, maybe online or here. And I would like to just put it clearly that you will still have this report for 14 days to still continuously go through it, ask, even raise issues around it. If you're not able to get the financial jargons that are coming out of there, you can ask a fellow accountant, what is accrual basis of accounting vis-a-vis cash basis? But I think the explanation was clear. One is based on invoice, the other one is based on cash. Accrual is based on invoice, the cash is based on money received. They recognize income when you receive the cash. That is the cash basis accounting. So as we have been using accrual accounting for the longest time, actually ever since, government is just coming into it now. Now you are free to ask questions on those three statements. The three statements: statement of comprehensive income, statement of financial position, and which other statement? And statement of expenditure. Statement of income and expenditure.
Prof, maybe you need to explain, because the auditor is not here. When he concludes the chair report is unqualified.
Yes. That is very important. I know those of us who are not in this. This is actually audit. This is purely audit. In audit, there are about 4 potential statements, or what we call the opinion. There are 4 opinions that can come out of any audit. The first opinion is called unqualified opinion. The second opinion is called qualified opinion. The third opinion is called adverse opinion. Then the fourth opinion is called disclaimer. So of the opinion, and here is a very funny one, the unqualified opinion is actually the best. Qualified opinion means you had some issues to answer, or there are queries which you had to provide an answer for. Adverse opinion simply means you have a very poor record. Disclaimer is very dangerous, because that means an auditor came and he was unable to do any audit. You don't have any head or tail in terms of bookkeeping. So that is how the opinions, audit opinions, come out. I've tried to give that since Mweru Karanja is not here, and I hope, am I okay? The CPS, eh? Yeah. So that is how the opinions are. So when we say unqualified opinion, that is the best. Very few government institutions get unqualified opinion. In fact, the best some of them have gotten is basically qualified. Otherwise, a number of county governments, if you go to their records, the audit opinions they have is mainly adverse, in between adverse and qualified. But some of them got even disclaimer. Some government institutions have gotten disclaimer. You can Google there. I've never seen a county government with unqualified opinion. All of them are at qualified. I've never. Even these government ministries, none. Even institutions, so-called parastatals, none have unqualified. I've never seen. Most of them will get qualified opinions in audit. Okay, so any query? I think I've explained at least that last statement. Here or out, you can check for us. None. Okay.
Maybe, Chair, before
before we adopt, there's a section of the chair's report that needs to be scrolled.
Yeah.
And so those who are, can we go to the chair's report and the annex chair? We want to explain something for the professionals now that it is recorded.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah.
So you can put the report up before we finish. The chair's report, Annex 4. Annex 4. Open the annex chair, yes, there. Annex 4 is giving the fees that are charged for various services, some in the Gazette notice and some that came from the stakeholders meeting that took place sometimes at the beginning of the year, on what we charge for activities. If you look at from number 1 up to number 38, we have services like registration of nutrition professionals still remains 5,000 for East Africa and 700 USD for non-East Africa. It has been like that. Internship, temporary license is 3,000. For non-East Africa is USD 100. We have annual retention or renewal fee at 2,000 and non-East African 200 USD. What we need to understand, professionals, is that from the time I registered in 2009, the registration fee has remained 5,000. And also, from the time we registered, the renewal fee has remained 2,000. The next question is, do you think 2,000 and 5,000 of 2009 is the same as 5,000 and 2,000 of today? You need to think about it, because very soon we'll be calling people for stakeholders. In my opinion, if the accountants are paying 15,000 and the lawyers are paying 30,000 annually, I don't see why we should be paying just 2,000 if we were to run the institution. We have to be realistic, but that depends on the professionals. Also, we have restoration of names fee when you are deregistered, degree, diploma, all these had been passed through the stakeholders. You can scroll it slowly so that it can be recorded for those who would want to see later. We have also written examinations, professionals, 10,000 for Kenyans. Let me concentrate there. Degree oral examination is 10,000. Expenditure on professional expedited, if you want to be done for exams very fast because of urgency, you pay 30,000 for that exercise to be conducted. Professional private practice license, you pay 10,000 to register, and consultant specialists will pay 30,000. Foreigners will pay 1,000 USD. Certificate of good standing is 20,000. Certificate verification is 5,000. That is certification as a true copy of the original. Annual CPD accreditation fee, we have 25,000 for individuals and 400,000 for institutions for 4 years. Individuals is per program conducted. Interim license for training institutions, we have 250,000. Professional support, inspection and approval of training institutions, 400,000 for degree, 400,000 for diploma, and 300 for certificate. Nutrition and dietetics leadership and professional ethics training, we have 120,000 virtual attendees. Then we have non-East African, 2,000. Now we are giving professionals come January, a free option only for professionals, virtual at 14,000. So if you want to be trained as a leader, you better get your chance. After that, we will cancel it. It will not be there again. That is coming in January. License of private practice. Consultancy fee for a nutritionist who is running a private practice, maximum you can charge is 3,000, exclusive of prescribed treatment after that. That one used to be 1,000. We have moved it to 3,000. So if you open a shop now, you can charge 3,000. Food industry value chain, 400 per product. Large size company, 120, small size, medium size, and small food companies is 60,000. Endorsement for large companies, 2.5 million. And medium is 1.5 million. And of course, endorsement for small ones is 700,000. Then we have basic nutrition service provider registration. This one is where we can do for community health promoters and TOTs. If they are trained, they can be registered as 500. I hope you are seeing that. I hope you are scrolling that one. We have also conference and symposiums. If you want to conduct one, we charge 55,000. Ethical clearance for masters is 3,000. For PhD is 3,000. For expedited is 5,000. Monitoring evaluation is 50,000. Research ethical clearance, M&E international. M&E we have 70,000. Membership upgrade is 1,000. And I think private business registration, we have 10,000. We have said that. Employee professional membership renewal is 2,000. Replacement of certificate is 1,000. Right now, that does not apply because our certificate is digital. And registration fee for business marketing food supplements is 45,000. Training institution non-compliance penalty is 100,000 per year. Practice license non-compliance fee is 2,000 per year. Digital platform onboarding fee for CPD, we have 20,000 single business, 100,000 limited companies, and government 50,000. International is 2310 USD. So those who will be onboarding in our services for telemedicine, you can get it from there. And then we have partnership with CPD and others. We take 30% of the income from that CPD program. Restoration of closed institution is 200,000. That is for both diploma and degree. These are currently the fees we are charging for income lines. It is good for you to be aware. You will find it on the website. Also, Chair, Annex 3, if you can check that one, Annex 3. Annex 3 is a document. I don't know whether you have it. Annex 3, as part of public good. I know many people think Kndi is defiant. When we are requested from once in a while, the technical team, is that report attached there? Biannual report survey on revitalization of regulatory authorities by public service. It is. Tell the one who gave you that they should find it. It's there. Anyway, you will find it in the main report once we share. That report is just to show the public that the council is working. It's by public service, just like any other regulatory authorities. We have regulatory functions which are done under self-regulation. So we submit that report from time to time to public service, even though we have no business with public service on the basis of funds. But as a good citizen, the report was filled appropriately according to their survey for their knowledge. It's also part of the chair's report. So, Professor, I think that is the end. So if we are adopting the chair's report, we do it together with the audited accounts, and then we have 14 days for professionals to react. If we don't receive any information, then we will consider it a public document for anyone that can access it. And professionals have the rest of their years to go through it again under live YouTube. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request for adoption of the two reports, the chair's report and the audited accounts report, so that we can still be able to forward them to you. So adoption, currently? Yeah? Proposer for the two? Online? Is there anybody online proposing? Or from within? From within? Even the new ones now, you can, this one now you can propose. For those who are online, you can type the name, ID, and registration. Proposer? Any of you can propose? Okay. Proposer? Proposer's name? Okay. So I can see Kenya there. Kenya is a staff. It's proposed by Mumina. Mumina is allowed to propose. Any others? Mumina, you can give us your registration number and ID. You can pick. Yeah, you can give Mumina to propose. Yeah, just go ahead. You propose in loud voice.
My name is Lilian Momina, a clinical nutritionist registered under G17, G2521 17, and I propose the adoption of today's reports.
Okay. Thank you very much. Second. Any other? Seconder? Seconder? Somebody online to second? Abdik, I don't know whether I'm... Elizabeth Mulwa. Oh, Buluku. Elizabeth, unmute. Can somebody unmute Elizabeth to second? Oh, Elizabeth, then type. Just type. Can you unmute everybody?
Hello.
Elizabeth, just type.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
You can hear me? I second. Elizabeth Buluku.
Luku, registration number?
Let me get it for you and send it shortly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Or national, just give us your national ID, Buluku.
111-016 111-01617. Thank you.
01617.
Yes.
That's okay, Buluku?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
So Elizabeth Buluku has seconded. We'll follow up and just get to know the registration number. Thank you very much. So with that, the reports stand adopted. And we are going to have the reports in your individual contacts, emails. And you will be able to have 14 days to still go through the report and then tell us, okay? Thank you very much.
So before we close by a word of prayer, I would wish to thank the council members and professionals for this. Normally, once this is done, it is put as a public document. And you can access it either via bulk SMS or YouTube live. Even the last year's AGM is there live in YouTube. There's nothing to add, to hide. We are only requesting that as professionals, we need to build our institution. Institutions are not built by stones. It is built by funds. Some of our seniors are working very hard to bring funds. For example, those who do grants can bring funds. Administrative cost of that grant can run the institution. If I write a proposal now and get a research grant through ATRI program, then 10% will go to Kndi, and the remaining can conduct the research. That is how institutions are built. And any professional can run their grants at Kndi. Also, you can team up as consortium in partnership to run grants. If also you are part of a process like you're a philanthropist, you can also give money to run programs at Kndi. Don't think that you are too young to become a philanthropist. There are people who earn big money and they can run the institution. And with that, I want to inform you that in the future, we are headed for a 10-year master plan to build a research university. And so very soon we'll be calling you, we'll be classifying, not calling you, but classifying our professionals in different levels of categories, including senior research consultants, equivalent of associate professor in a university. And that will take us to research university. We cannot think otherwise because ISPAC has KCA, and KCA is admitting students for research. Ours will not admit undergraduate, but will admit postgraduate programs like postdocs. And that will help us now become the scientists we're talking about. So get prepared, but then it is you and I too to do it. So for now, let me pray we have food for those who are present. Don't go. And thank you for your patience, those who came for the award. You really sat down. This thing is not easy, isn't it? You saw, even reading, we have to share. The same way you are sharing with us. So let's rise up and pray. And pray also for the food. Almighty and everlasting Father, the great I am, Father, we want to thank you because once we said, when we finish seamlessly, we shall be careful to return all the glory to you. We want to thank you for the great nation Kenya, and particularly thank you for those who came up with the idea of nutrition and dietetics as a profession. We know it has taken us years to make nutrition known, and it is going somewhere. We also know that you have given us the wisdom, and you have deposited in us the spirit of wisdom to be innovative and come up with new ways of serving government without exchequer, without money appropriated by Parliament. Because you have done that, you are the Most High, and we return all the glory to you. Again, we thank you for all the professionals who have sustained the institution, those who are subscribing as membership or renewing their licenses, and even our partners training institutions. Also, we want to thank you for the governance, the council, and the CEO office, together with the committees, and those who support us in various technical activities. We want to thank you for them. We want to thank you again also for our ministry, believing that they are part of these processes in terms of steering it through gazettement of the council and oversight where necessary. And we cannot forget that we have food, so the food is blessed. It shall not cause any harm. Whatever is inside that food is not death in the pot. As we consume it, it's for our nourishment. And as nutritionists, we shall be careful also to behave, not too much. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.